All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Alive with Courage podcast. I get the pleasure of being with Mitch Anderson. Mitch, you're like one of the top 3 people in my life that has influenced me so much. 20 years we've known each other. And so this is just a personal treat for me, just to get to sit with you and,
Me too.
and really just capture your life and what God's done in your life, and how much he's impacted so many people. So yeah, man, excited to be with you.
It's good to be with you. Good to be here.
Yeah, man. Well, why don't we just start by, I've heard pockets and pieces of your story over the years, but I think it'd be really cool to just really dive into some of the really formative moments where you're like, man, this was where I was being shaped, whether I knew it or not. But this is really some of the formative moments that have made me the leader that I am today. And we should probably pause and stop and say, you've been leading a YWAM base down in Chile for 38 years, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So started a YWAM base in a coastal rural town, Pichilemu, down in Chile.
Yep.
And that has just been blossoming and growing. There's a sports center there. It's multiple acres, multiple people living there. I mean, it's just this incredible space where hundreds of thousands of people have come through there for different classes with YWAM. The impact in the community has been incredible with swim lessons. I mean, I'll let you fill this in more. And then also, I know you're directing most of South America. Is that as well? Or?
Well, I'm on a leadership team
Okay.
South America
Yeah.
and a national team in Chile. So there's 4 of us leaders that are helping to lead. There's 21 facilities throughout the country of Chile.
Yeah.
And so 21 centers around with different focuses.
Yeah.
In Youth with a Mission, YWAM.
Yeah. Yeah. So been with YWAM for over 30.
We've been with YWAM. My wife and I are married 43 years. I've been in YWAM 43 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang, that's crazy. Yeah. So not only from a regional leadership area, but you've also got experience leading across country and countries.
Yes.
It seems throughout all South America.
Yeah, Southern Cone as well, the 5 countries of the Southern Cone,
Yeah.
as well as the continent of South America.
Yeah.
And then on an international level, I've had the privilege of, there's 35,000 YWAMers, workers worldwide. And it's a crazy group. They're a group of people we're all volunteers. No, there's no salaries out there. There are a couple of salaries. The ships that we run, by maritime law, the captain has to be paid. And so he or she gets $1 a year. And so they get a salary. Everybody else we're all free.
That's awesome.
And just believing in God and just waiting on God. So I can sit here before our friends and you and tell you, 43 years we've been just month in and month out. We don't know what's coming in. We don't know what that looks like. I would say more than 35 years of that, we've been way below the poverty level. My wife and I, we've raised 5 kids. We got grandkids. I built little houses down there, little places just to live in and this and that and the other. And every April 15th for us is really, for most, it's not a celebration, but it's a celebration for us because we look at that measly amount that came in and all that God was able to do in and through us. It's a constant year in and year out. Wow, God, you're just amazing. How did we travel to those? How do we do this? How do we do,
Yeah.
Now, when we travel, we're traveling in Youth with a Mission. We're often in the harder places. So we're in the slums or we're in the most difficult neighborhoods or in the toughest parts of the city or the country that we find ourselves in. So it's a wonderful adventure. I recommend it for everyone.
Well, let's go back, because I'm asking myself, is this just Mitch that's wired this way, or is it like when you invite people into adventure? I mean, I've been given that call from you many times to come step into an adventure. But I'm just curious, where did that come from, that adventure spirit for you? Like, I'd just love to hear part of your story.
Yeah, there's bits and pieces of the puzzle of my life that came into play. What I didn't know about myself until a couple of years ago, and my brother informed me that our whole family, my brothers, we all had I call it a Viking heart. It's a bad heart. and valve was in bad shape, the aorta and the valves, the arteries clogging up and all that. And my family has all gone to heaven, mostly because of that situation.
Wow.
And so when I was 3 years old, my brother was in bad shape, and I was in bad shape as a baby, as a toddler. And my dad was a doctor, and they made the decision, we're going to get our kids into athletics, into something in that realm. And they chose swimming. And so they put me on a swim team. I'm originally from the Bay Area. And they put me on a swim team, Santa Clara Swim Club. It's probably the best swim club in human history. We had, when I was done there, and I never went to the Olympics, but we had 27 golds, 35 silvers, and 35 bronzes. That's a lot of, Olympic stamina and that. And it was a huge team. But I was being pulled out of bed at 3:45 every morning to go to the pool to swim there from 5 to 7 to get back and go to school, to then get taken back to the pool at 3 in the afternoon to swim from 4 to 6. And that was my life. And every Saturday was a 3-hour deadly workout. And so I was swimming, when it got to its peak at university, I was swimming 16,000 a day.
Jeez.
Which is 10 miles. So I'm swimming 10 miles a day, 5 hours in the water, day in and day out, and an hour of weights on top of that, eating 7,000 to 8,000 calories. So we go to McDonald's with the boys, and I'd get like five combos. Give me the 5 Big Macs. And
Yeah. Gosh.
But I didn't realize it, and I actually came to hate swimming. I mean, you can imagine that.
Yeah.
Your whole existence, everything about you. But what I learned a few years ago, before my brother passed, he told me this, my older brother. He said, we were put in swimming really to save my life. Because my dad, as a doctor, knew our son has a bad heart. And so let's get him on the best swim team in the world, and let's let him swim a gazillion miles. I think I've done two times around the world.
Dang.
Just swimming in the last 60. I'm 66, so that was 63 years ago, and I've been swimming ever since. But I remember at one point when I became a Christian at 21, and again, I was getting towards my tail end of the experience at UCLA and then UC Santa Barbara.
Where you were swimming there?
Yeah, I was on the swim team and stuff. And the Lord was making it clear that swimming needed to be one of my life sports. And I remember saying, God, I hate swimming. I just hate it. I really do. I despise going into a pool and swimming more laps. And the Lord gave me a word. He says, you have not because you ask not. And I feel so sorry for people that say, for instance, they've convinced themselves, I hate to jog, but I know I need to do it, so I get out there every day and discipline myself to make it. So you convince yourself that you hate something, and you have to force yourself to do the thing that you hate.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if I'm lazy or what you want to call it, but it was like, Lord, I don't want to have to go there. Okay, for the rest of my life, I'm going to hate swimming. And he said, you have not because you ask not. And what that tied into was ask of me. And so what I did was I said, Lord, would you give me a love for swimming? And you know what he says? Okay. And he gave it to me. And so people will tell me, wow, you're so disciplined. I'm not disciplined. I love what I'm doing. How many of you have to be disciplined to go to a barbecue and have a big, luscious, scrumptious filet mignon? You don't have to be, or an ice cream sundae or whatever.
Yeah.
You got to be disciplined to keep it tight, keep it, slow it down. But you don't have to be disciplined because you love it.
Yeah.
And so I love swimming. It's just the strangest thing. I don't need to be on a team. I don't need to be on a club. I don't need to be on any of that. And I'll swim every day. If I get a chance, I'll swim every day. And then when I was 7 years old, there's another moment where my brother up in Santa Cruz, he was during the Vietnam era, my brother became a Green Beret. He was a frogman, one of those guys that would be waiting for the NASA's to drop down out of the sky and to be there to pick up the astronauts and that kind of thing. and he was a surfer. He had picked up surfing. He had me by 12 years, and he's no longer with us. But he was the one when I was 7 that pushed me into my first wave. There in Santa Cruz, a little beach down there south of the city. And boy, I got the taste of what it was like. You know what I'm talking about? Standing on a board with the wave, the energy of the ocean pushing you, and then that just opened up a whole nother world. So they were both aquatics, swimming and surfing.
Yeah.
And so I have surfed all over the world. I probably swam and competed in 300 or 400 pools, over all these years. And those are the two big things. One thing that I discovered from my youth, my mama did it, and she forced me to do it because she loved me. And she knew it was good for me. And so she was there at 3:45 every morning waking me up. She was there to cook me all the meals that I ate. She would make whole pies, and I just grind them down, because I was an absolute pig. And so those are those formative things. And what I realized was, I remember, the 28 gold medalist,
Phelps,
Michael Phelps. I remember listening to one of his interviews. And he says, if I had not been a swimmer, I was ADHD and the whole 9 yards, and I would have just been a mess. And I realized all my years in elementary, junior high, and high school, by the time I get to school, had they had all those letters for us back then, I'd have had them all.
Yeah.
Because I was a super hyperactive kid and just off the charts. But by the time I would get to school at 8 o'clock in the morning, I was too tired to cause problems. I'd already burnt through 1,000 calories, and so I could sit there and listen to the teacher and answer the questions and stay relatively focused, and then move on with my day. And so those were key elements and key things that were in my life, passions that I have. It's funny because swimming was completely competitive. And the surfing aspect of it was, we have the joy of being able to be called soul surfers, some of us, where we just like the artistic aspect of it.
Yeah.
To me, a wave is the facade for a painting, and you could just carve on it and do whatever you can do with it, as an artist would do.
Yeah.
And so that was something that I kept those two things separate, because I was an athlete. I was a good athlete. And I was also a decent surfer. And I had many friends say, you need to start jumping in and competing. I said, no. If I start competing with my surfing, it will change and it won't be the same.
Yeah.
And I won't be that soul surfer anymore. And I'm not saying that competition is wrong or bad or anything like that. But that was my particular, and I only started competing when we got to Chile and we got to surf the big waves.
Yeah.
Because if you want to just figure out who the dumbest guy in the water is, you look out there at the guy that's at the peak and scratching over the ledge of the biggest wave of the day.
Yeah.
And that, in many cases, would have been this guy.
So you became a lifeguard, right, in Santa Cruz?
Yep.
And then I would imagine a great lifeguard, if you're great at surfing and great at swimming. I mean, those are the two combos you want in a lifeguard.
Yeah, I mean, but that's kind of a mixed bag, because you can be a total athlete and be a lousy lifeguard if you sit on a rescue. I would say the best lifeguard the state of California has ever had is my wife, Juliet Anderson. She was just the mother of the beach, and she owned the beach. And she was on the calls, the first one down there, the first one doing preventative measures, taking care of this, that, and the other, and taking care of all her kids out in the ocean. And I was a good guard, but I wouldn't say I was a great one. I worked for the state for city of Santa Cruz 2 years as a guard there at the city beach in the late 70s. And then all the way up through 2000, a state lifeguard, 4 years in San Diego, down at Carlsbad and down to Blacks. And then we were 15, 16 years up in Santa Cruz. We started two Manresa Junior Lifeguard Program and the Twin Lakes Junior Lifeguard Programs. We started those.
Cool.
Launched those and got those going off the ground. We get 300 kids on the beach during the summer.
So you guys would be in Chile and then come back for the summer.
Yes.
Here. Okay.
We come back 2 months a year. So we'd be 10 months down in Chile in the summer.
Yeah.
Because down there, our summertime is January, February.
Yeah.
And so we would be spring, summer, fall, and then we would come back up to summer again.
I love it.
Not too bad.
So did you just meet Juliet, just seeing her just owning the beach, and you're like, who's that woman? Or how did that happen?
Well, you would know this too, because as a surfer, I was locked in. I was hooked.
Yeah.
I went to UCLA. She was at USC. And I was interested in her. She was a full-on athlete, aquatics, the whole 9 yards, but she wasn't a surfer.
Oh.
And so as an old surf dog who surfing was my God before I was a Christian, it really was. The waves are up, it's going good. I'm in a good place.
Yeah.
Waves are down, it's flat or whatever. I'm not in a good place. And so I had pretty much made the decision that whoever I'm going to come alongside of and eventually marry, they need to surf. So I just started by putting her on a board.
Yeah.
And teaching her. And she took to it like lightning, and then she fell in love with it.
Yeah. You're like,
And then I could actually talk her into big days where we're over there in Hawaii or, North Shore. Honey, it's not that big. No, you can do it. And then we'd paddle out. You talked me into that. she'd be ripping on me while we're getting pounded by a set of waves.
oh man.
So sorry, honey. Take a deep breath.
What's great is that she can totally hang, she's a lifeguard.
She totally can.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And she put up with me these 43 years.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So how did you guys make the shift from like full-time guarding to YWAM? Like how did that transpire?
Well, the lifeguarding has always been part-time anyway. It's always just a couple of months,
Okay.
2-3 months, June, July, mid-June, through the end of August, kind of a thing. 10 weeks, you're there and you're gone.
Yep.
And so for our first years in Youth with a Mission, it was 2.5 months in California. And we lived in the back of an old pickup truck I had. And so had a dog and I had a golden. Yeah. And we would live in that truck and camp at down in San Diego was the San Leo campgrounds and the Carlsbad campgrounds. And we would camp in the day use area there. They would let us as lifeguards camp there with the other guards. And it was so much fun.
I bet.
Because we just lifeguard all day from 10 in the morning till 6. You surf in the evening, surf in the morning, go for do some diving, some spear fishing and stuff. And that was just day in and day out. And then, because we were Christians, just going to Bible study and getting involved and sharing our faith. And it was just fun start to finish. This was all before the kids came.
Yeah, yeah.
And we got pregnant. My wife got pregnant with our first boy, our boy Nathan.
Yeah.
And when he came along, we had to move out of the truck.
Yeah.
And so I sold the truck for $1,000. That's about what it was worth. Yeah. It was just totally thrashed. And I had a little Toyota Celica. I sold that for about $800. And we took that money and bought tickets to fly to Chile. And that really cut the ties with California, though then we were able year in and year out to come back and somehow get a hold of a vehicle and somehow get a hold of the circumstances where we can either stay with friends like you guys or others, or we would camp. We would just camp out, or we would sleep in the van that we had at the time. And it was a very rustic life, and peanut butter jelly sandwiches and trying to pinch our pennies and get money together and then go back off into missions when the end of August would come in and the summer would be over. So we did that for years and years and years.
Yeah. But why? So back up a minute, because there's, most people would be like, why would you start a family and move to another country and live out of a van and because what's the draw? I mean, what was compelling for you guys, like to be able to do something like that?
I gotta say, and this is something I could see as an older man. Yeah. I'm 66. one of the things that I do fairly regularly is try to encourage folks. I've heard about this thing called a midlife crisis, and it's something I'm never going to have. It just doesn't exist. It's a non-issue. And as I've observed, as I've watched, and I don't want to be critical about anybody, but if any of us guys, if we go through life where we allow ourselves to settle into a routine, maybe the routine's not a bad routine. I'm going to just settle into what's protected, what seems nice and insulated, what seems like the best way to go, and move into a routine where I can, if that turns into a bit of a rut, where I'm just going to work and I'm doing this and I'm doing that and I'm raising the kids and I'm just moving ahead and I'm just taking a day at a time and I'm not paying attention to the time going by and not taking advantage of the circumstances that life can and God could bring. You get to a point, and people do, this is what I've heard, where they feel such a crisis in their life. Wow, I'm 60 years old and I haven't done the things that I dreamed that I was going to do. And here my life is 2/3 over. And they go through that crisis by leaving their wife, by dumping the kids, by looking for a younger lady, go out and buy a Camaro or a Mustang or something like that.
Yeah.
Get a toupee. Whatever. And again, I'm in danger of offending somebody. I don't want to offend anybody. I'm just saying that kind of circumstance, often in what I see in my conversation with my older friends who have experienced something like that, it's like I missed it. And so somehow I'm going to pretend that I'm going to live it out again. So now that I'm in this Camaro, I'm back to being 18 years old. No, you're not. You're 60 years old.
Yeah.
I'm 66, and I'm stoked being 66. When I'm 67, I'm going to be stoked being 67. And as my capacities and abilities are diminishing, I can't do what I did at 30.
Yeah.
30 years old, I could climb on the face of a 35-foot wave and drop in, and I can't do that anymore. I've broken 18 bones and had over 800 stitches in this old body. And most of those injuries are from just being dumb as a bag of hammers and out there thinking I could do something that probably I couldn't do.
Yeah.
But then there were the times that you make it. You know what I'm talking about.
It's all worth it.
And so, I mean, there is that aspect of it where I know in my case, I had that, it's kind of maybe a virus. It's a good virus where you want the adventure.
Yeah.
And not just empty adventure. And what God wants to offer us, and this is what he offers each of us, a true adventure in him. And an adventure that gears into and steers into, even if it's a 9 to 5, even if I'm not dissing any of that. I'm not putting any of that to the side as though it's no, not at all.
Yeah.
There's plenty of us men that are called into that life, called into raising that family, called into loving that wife, called into moving ahead with your church and your circumstance.
Business, whatever, yeah.
And you're being that humble man, and you're being that man who's solid in his convictions and who's straightforward, and you'll be completely happy. You'll be just like what I'm talking about. And you'll have the resources and the finances, and you have the paycheck that comes in every 2 weeks, and you have and there's nothing that's bad about that at all. Unless or until we start to set that as our purpose for living, our reason for living, our focus in life. And I've had some conversations with friends who did fall in that trap, where I've just got to get a little bigger house, I got to get a better car, I've got to get this, I've got to get that, I've got to get the other. And they start going down that route where eventually midlife crisis is probably one of the consequences. And again, it's something I'm happy to say I'm never going to have. I don't want to be 18 again. I was already 18, you know,
Yeah.
and I loved it, and it was great, but it's over, and I'm on to something else. So I'm able to today embrace who I am, enjoy who I am, enjoy the fact that you are waning in your capacities.
Yeah.
And to me, that's like Caleb in the Bible. He was a man that said, "You give me that mountain. I know I'm 100 years. I don't care. I'm going.
Yeah.
Give me a sword. Give me that mountain, and I'm going to go take it."
Yeah. Well, I wonder if I think you're talking about the word fulfillment. Like you're like, I'm 66 and I'm fulfilled with every year of my life, and I'll be fulfilled in 67 and 68. And I wonder if that fulfillment comes from actually just saying yes to the adventure that God has for you each year, you know? And I don't want to make an equation out of this where when we say no, adventure drops off, and when we say yes, adventure increases,
Yeah.
or fulfillment increases. But there's, I've experienced that myself personally, where if I start actually getting into the will of God and the larger story of what he's up to, and it just seems like he always wants to sort of just draw you out over your skis a bit. You don't know what you're doing fully. You know enough to get started,
Or
but
get
not
in trouble.
right. But not enough to like. There's not the certainty is not what he's offering, right? Like, and all these things that we crave, I think, as humans and as men, it's just like we want it to work. We want it to be logical. We want it to be safe. We want it to be controlled. We want like. And just that's not how he works.
Nope.
It's very different. and I think we can either receive that and accept that and the mystery and the adventure and the unknown that it is, and actually get a ton of freaking fulfillment out of it, or we can actually say, like, push it away, say no, make sure everything's safe, controlled, understood. And I think fulfillment drops out of the system when that starts really taking hold, right? And so I don't. Where have you experienced that? Where you're like, the more I say yes to God, the more adventure I jump into.
Oh, yeah.
The fulfillment just starts.
Oh, yeah.
Going crazy in my life.
Well, and this is another thing I've challenged my friends with. Most people, and just probably it's just human nature. You want to stay within your capabilities. You want to stay within your giftings. You want to stay within your realm of possibilities, and keep a nice, safe, tight, clean-looking space.
Yeah.
There's some of us that like to go to that point and then take a few steps beyond and move into a realm where I don't know how to do this. I don't understand what I'm supposed to be doing fully, and God's going to meet me. Getting back to the swimming issue, you've been at our pool, and we live in Pichilemu, Chile. It's a coastal town down in about 3 hours south of the capital. Everybody's welcome. Come on down.
2 world-class waves. 10 minutes.
Baby, we've got 2 3/4-mile left point breaks, and I've caught 35-foot waves out there, and it's amazing. You get the longest wave of your life. You've caught them.
Yeah.
But I had swam all my life. And there I was, I knew that it was swimming and surfing that God really used to help shape my life and to help keep me focused and help burn up those calories so I wouldn't cause trouble in other ways. And so I decided, I felt like the Lord say, you need to build a pool here. And so pretty much for the most part, we hand dug a 25-meter long semi-Olympic pool that you've swam in.
Hold on, I gotta ask. Was it gonna be longer? And then you're like, "This is way too much work. We're making."
Well, no, I had contemplated the 50, but it was just so huge.
Yeah.
Well, and the 25 was already way above my.
I know.
And it had far way outstripped my abilities. You know, I had never built it. I had a buddy who was an ex-Vietnam vet up in Santa Cruz. He had built like 300 pools back then in the early 90s.
Yeah.
And I remember saying, John's his name. I go, John, this is going to be great. He's this huge mountain man, you know, big beard, Santa Cruzian. And I go, John, this is going to be great. God told me to build a pool in Chile, and we're going to have swim teams and swim clubs and work with the elderly and work with the special needs and work with addicts and all this kind of stuff. And he's looking at me, and John is an adventurer's adventurer. He jumped on a bicycle and rode across the north of Sudan. He's a madman.
Yeah.
He's just a madman. I love that guy. And he loves to preach to Muslims and just let it go.
Yeah.
And a few years ago, John came back to me because in that time, 35 years ago, he said, now, you got cement trucks to come in and bring the mixed cement? Oh, no, they don't have those in Chile. Well, okay, you've done this kind of thing before. No, I never have. Well, do you have a plumbing contractor, an electrical contractor, a concrete contractor? Oh, no, I'm going to be the contractor in all those areas. So do you have experience? Well, no, not really. And so do you have equipment to do the digging? And no, we don't have that. We're going to. So he kept asking all these questions. And then at one point he said it, and I'll never forget it. He goes, you have no idea what you're getting yourself into. And there's a day's going to come where you're going to cry in that hole. And he was absolutely right. Because I was in so far over my head that I didn't know. And we live in earthquake country. When we have a 4.5 in Chile, it's not even on the news. We, back in 2010, we had an 8.8.
Gosh.
Which, my goodness, and I'm from NorCal. I'm from up in the Bay Area and stuff, San Francisco earthquake and all that, and Loma Prieta and all those. But those aren't even earthquakes. We had aftershocks bigger than all of those. After that big quake, we had 7.2s and 7.1s and 6.9s and
tsunamis.
It was just, and tsunami.
Yeah.
And so I'm building a pool in a place that is just absolutely earthquake. When we had our big quake, the pool, my buddy who lives next door, looked over at the pool and saw a 6-foot tsunami come out of the side of the pool.
Wow.
For it was a 3-minute long quake. It lasted for 3 minutes, not 20 seconds, or it was 3 full minutes. Wow. And I tell everybody, and this is important for people to know.
Yeah.
I've talked to the emergency people out of Japan, the emergency people out of Haiti, and different circumstances around the world as part of Youth with a Mission. We've been getting together. And they all said the same thing. Don't go under a table and don't go into a doorway. We find all the dead bodies under tables and in the doorways. Wow. If you're able to get out of the building within the first 20 seconds, get out of the building and get out in the open. Do not stand in the doorway and keep yourself there.
Wow.
When the building finally collapses, those are the dead bodies we find.
Wow.
We go in and we start looking under tables and we start looking in doorways.
Dang.
So if you're on the 15th floor and you've got no choice, okay.
Yeah.
But if you can get out of the building. Anyway, so that's something that I became very, very aware of. And building that pool was like, I cried in that hole. I just did. Because I knew I didn't know what I was doing. And so you let practicality come in. And if they say use 8 sacks of cement per cubic meter of sand and gravel, I'll use 9 or 10. If they say put the steel rebar at 50 centimeters length, I'll put it every 40 centimeters. So I'm putting 20% more steel. I'm putting, but all of that. And I remembered I got my idea out of a Home Depot. I opened up a Sunset magazine that had a little insert on pools. And I opened it up, and there was a drawing of how they did pools pre-World War II. There's no shotcrete. There was no shooting. There was none of that stuff. And we didn't mix it. We had to hand mix it. And so what they used to do pre-World War II is they'd pour the slab. They put all the pipes down. Then they pour the slab. And then they put up cinder block on the sides. So that's what I did. And I did it just because I saw it in a picture, a hand-drawn picture inside of a Sunset magazine.
Yeah.
There was the idea.
Wow.
And you just go with it. And so what I'm trying to say in all of this is God's in the middle of it. And probably 4 or 5 times while I was building the pool, there would be Chilean men walking by, because you see a construction site and you're a builder.
Yeah.
You're going to walk over and see the site. You're on vacation and you're with the kids and whatnot. You're just walking the streets and, oh, what are they doing over there? And guys would walk over and they were just like angels to me because I didn't know what I was doing. And I'm probably doing something wrong. And the guys would stand there and he'd look at me and he goes, how you doing? You know, we'd start talking and he goes, I don't mean to, you know, I'm a contractor from Santiago, but I don't mean to, you know, I'm not here to criticize you or anything, but what I can see you're trying to do right there, that's not going to work out.
Wow.
And it was just a word of the Lord for me. Because they're telling me like they're thinking I'm going to get mad and get defensive. I'm not going to get mad. I'm going to listen to their counsel because they know more. You're not going to go in and argue with the mechanic about your car. No, I know it's the carburetor. You don't know what you're talking about. No, he's the mechanic.
Yeah.
And so, and on numerous occasions, I say, you know what? Thank you so much. You just helped save me hours and hours of doing something dumb. And so God has a way of intervening with us. He wants to call you and me. He wants to call us beyond ourselves. He wants to call you into a place where you have to believe him for something that you know you can't do. When I have people come and say, wow, what an amazing, and when some of our visitors here in this interview here, maybe they decide to come on out, come on down. And you might say, wow, what a great job you did. I'll be able to say thanks, but it wasn't me. It wasn't me. I was a set of hands that were hopefully Jesus's hands, set of feet that were Jesus's feet. And I was a willing person to step out and step in and work to make it happen. We, most recently, we roofed the pool. We put a 10,000 square foot roof over the pool. In Chile, it's by law, you have to have a roof on your pool for it to stay open year round. They're kind of wimpy down there. And so we had to put a steel roof up, 30 tons of steel. And how do you put that up? We don't have a crane. We don't have any means to do it. So yeah, I talked with my buddies, and there's 6 of us, and we welded it all out. We got 30 tons of steel, welded it all out near the pool. And then when it came time to put it up, I went up the mountain and cut down a eucalyptus tree trunk and dragged that tree trunk down the mountain. And we lifted the tree trunk up in each place where we had to put the vortex, the roof pitch. We lifted the tree trunk there and had a cable up there with a pulley. And then we had the whole big, huge thing sitting there on the ground. I tied it off, and I told everybody, now you got a pair of Nikes on. You get ready to run. This is our OSHA. I'm probably going to get in trouble. I said, you got a pair of Nikes on. What you want to do, if you see that tree trunk start to fall, run as fast as you can. And I'll be right here where I was the biggest.
Hold on to the rope.
No, I was doing the clicker. I was doing the come along, click, 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 and lifting the thing up. And I had a guy sitting on each of the posts on the outside with a welding irons and
ready to receive it to weld.
And then when we set it in place, they welded it in place, and then we set. And we did that for weeks. It took weeks to do that.
Yeah.
But all that by hand, and all that, and time after time, not knowing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But just, God's given you and me common sense. He's given you and me, I always tell people, think pragmatically and practically, and be willing to go beyond yourself. Because you get to see God in ways that you will not see him any other way. If you make sure that your life is well under your own control, it gives God a harder time. And again, I'm not saying be a fool like me, because I've made foolish mistakes and done foolish things. But be willing to, in those given moments, I know I can only get to 8. Be willing to shoot for 10.
Yeah.
Be willing to shoot for that goal that you're incapable of making happen.
So I want to double click on that, because that's something you can prescribe to somebody and say, hey, you run half marathons, run a marathon, right? It's like, okay, like, and we can prescribe these things to people. But I wonder if there's something just really innocent and beautiful about why you might take on a project like that. Like, it really just simply desire or vision, or what if we could do it? Like, almost like this little twinkle in the eye that's just like, oh my gosh, that'd be incredible, right? Like, because, and I wonder, I even think about like getting married, right? Where if someone told you how hard it would be at age, at year 20, and how hard the marriage is getting, right? You'd never do it because you'd be like, oh. But there's that twinkle in the eye. There's that the heart just draws you toward that other person, and you say, you sign that, whatever I got to do to sign the dotted line to marry this
Sign
person,
me up.
right? And so maybe I'd love for you to talk about that a little bit, like, because I would imagine there's something in there that needs to be named, that like actually throws you over the wall of selling the truck, and the Corolla and moving to Chile, or seeing the Sunset Magazine thing and being like, I'm gonna build that, right? Or how are we gonna get this roof on? I don't know, but let's order the steel. We'll figure it out, right? Like,
Yeah.
Which I was there the night that the steel got delivered, and we had no crane.
It was insane.
We had no crane to take it off the truck. Pitch black, 50 to 75 people.
It was
hand
dangerous.
carrying these pieces of steel off the flatbed, and then the back of it fell off the back that night. Thank God no one was back there.
Yeah.
But there's something in there that I think that as humans, God wires us in a way that we're just like, send it, let's do it, let's go. What is that, do you think?
Yeah, there's something, and this is something where really my passion, I have as a passion.
Yeah.
I make a distinction between dreamers and visionaries.
Okay.
It's easy to have a dream. It's easy to dream about things. It's easy to imagine what it could be like. It's easy to speak about those possibilities. It's easy to pray about those things. It's a whole nother thing to say, I'm not just going to think about it, pray about it. I'm going to put my shoulder to the plow, and I'm going to work towards making it happen, even though it seems impossible. And that's a visionary. A visionary is a person who is willing to sweat it out, willing to risk it, willing to make it happen, even when it looks like it's just going to be an impossibility.
Yeah.
When we were called to go to Pichilemu, I remembered I was teaching in our School of Biblical Studies through the book of Jeremiah. And I realized that Jeremiah and a number of the prophets were given a task by God where at the same time, God basically said, you're not going to accomplish the task I'm giving you. You're going to fail. He's telling Jeremiah, go and try to convince Israel to repent from their sins so they don't have to go into exile and suffer the consequences of their sinful behavior. Now, Jeremiah, you're going to spend your life doing that, and you're going to fail in the attempt. They're going to fall in sin, and they're going to be dragged into exile. But go and do it. And I remembered that week in my teaching, because one morning I was having my quiet time, and the Lord said, would you be willing to go to Pichilemu and start a whole YWAM project if in 10 years it was an absolute failure? If it failed physically, like your physical body is deteriorated, if it failed emotionally, and if it failed spiritually, just was a failure in terms of your reputation and everything, would you be willing to do that if I asked you to do it? And I remember saying, Lord, I probably need a couple of days on that one. Because that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to go and try something that you kind of from the beginning know it's going to fall flat on its face? And it was cool because that Wednesday, I left it kind of hanging. And Friday morning, I had my quiet time. And I remember saying, Lord, if that's what you want me to do, I'm willing to do it. And the experience I had was like the weight of the pressure of pleasing man just lifted from my shoulders.
Yeah.
And so I'm already probably seen as rather foolish in the things that I do and the things that I take on and the things that I go for. And I've failed many, 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 many times. But it was such I went to lunch with my wife, Juliet, and they go ahead and try to tell your honey that. Honey, I feel like the Lord told me this morning or a few days ago, and then I prayed about it, and I feel like this is what we need to do. Move to Pichilemu. I had built a little house on the property where we were in Santiago. Give the house to somebody. Give away our all of our possessions. Go to Pichilemu and start from zero. And possibly in a decade, it'll be a failure. This is why you're getting to know my wife a little more too. Like, she's really an amazing woman.
Yeah.
Because she looked at me, and the look was like, "You're as dumb as a bag of hammers." Was her initial response. In her thinking, I could tell.
Yeah.
But I had the wisdom, which I don't have enough at that moment, to say, before you say anything, could you just take a couple of days and pray about it? And ask the Lord if it is true that we're to go there and we're to start from zero, from scratch, with nothing. And she did. She rolled through the weekend from that Friday, but she was angry and kind of frustrated and kind of distant from me because she was struggling with the issues herself, which she should have that place to do. And it was Sunday night. We sat down and she said, I've been praying about it. And I feel like you're right. God wants us to go to Pichilemu, give this house away, give our possessions away, and start over. Start with nothing. And so that's what we did. But everything about it, every facet, every aspect of it, there were bits and pieces that I could tie into past experience. But the bulk and everything that's taken place, pre-COVID, we got up to 380 students and staff from 35 countries. We're running one of our campuses of the University of the Nations. It's a 15-faculty university that goes around the world, whose graduates are just, I've been to our graduating ceremonies in different parts of the world, in Panama and Switzerland and in Hawaii and different parts, in Australia. I've gotten my master's degree there. It's a university like nothing you've ever heard about or could imagine. It's the University of the Holy Spirit. The purpose and the goal and the focus is to raise up a generation of young men and women to step out into the nations and shape and mold the nations into biblical understanding in whatever sphere they find themselves in. And this last graduation, I was in Panama, and I watched through tear-filled eyes. I watched people. I watched a number of women who were born and raised in the jungle of Panama and in the jungles of the Amazon, who lived out their lives in a village, in a tribe, with a people group. And today they're going down with cap and gown to get a diploma, but not a diploma that's just a credential. They have a purpose. They're there to teach. They're there to be there to serve in their communities and their culture. Another couple of brothers were Nigerian child soldiers that murdered dozens of people. They're going down with a cap and gown, and they're going to get a diploma. So, but not just, again, a credential. They're getting a diploma which shows they're going home and they're going to transform Nigeria for Jesus. They're going back into their sphere of, they're going back into that place in their world, and they're going to make it beautiful. And they're going to change it forever. And I got to see that, and I got to watch that. And I thought, what university would take in Papua New Guineans, guys with big old beards, and they were raised barefoot and naked, in the jungles, and they're there in a cap and gown going down. I mean, amazing, amazing stuff going on, and amazing things that God is doing where people can come in and transform their culture, transform their nation, and everybody's invited to the table. Doesn't really matter your background. God can redeem you. I've got friends that have killed dozens of people. I've got friends that have worked in the cartels. I've got friends that that were really, really, really bad people. My good buddy just passed away. He was a Shining Path guerrilla for 20 years. He's got 7 bullet holes in his body, been shot 7 times, and he's just like Bruce Willis was, just die hard, just kept coming back. And God got a hold of his life. God got a hold of his life, and God transformed him. And so I get to walk along. I have the privilege of walking alongside people like that. And when you walk alongside people like that, it's contagious.
Yeah.
And you want more for your life. And you want more. If you're walking alongside of people and keeping your circle of friends, those kind of people that keep everything comfortable, that can get a little tricky. Yeah. You guys know the story of David when he got comfortable.
Yeah.
Walking around his palace roof, and he saw Bathsheba over there naked, taking a bath. And that's a dangerous place to be.
Yeah.
Better to be in the action, be where the arrows are flying.
Yeah. So such a good transition. I was thinking about that moment you said when you had said, "Yeah, Lord, I will go," even if it fails in 10 years, and you felt that weight come off of you. That's I would imagine when you were in the hole of the pool digging and crying, that there maybe that was questioned, like in a minute there, but I imagine that, like, because I felt that same experience myself when I had to give up something sacrificially. Like I used to work at a coaching firm. There was the path was paved to that 6-7 figure job, like everything was there, and I ended up stepping out of it because it wasn't working for my marriage, and jumped off onto my own thing, and there was a death there, honestly, of just like, man, that was my track, that was my crew, that was my ticket to the Orange County life that I want, and then jumped out doing the sportive thing on my own, but God invited me out, and because it was him, the weight, the exact same thing, I felt that weight come off, and I was just like, okay, this is on him. And
totally.
And all of a sudden, the adventure now was not me alone, and the fear just starts dropping out of the system, because you've got the King of Kings with you. You've got, and it's like, this is your thing. And if it fails, it's on you, man. But it's also, but he wants to co-partner and co-create together. And I think he invites you out into the most intimate, like almost like father and son would do. Like, I want a project with you, man. Like, will you step out into this vast landscape of projects I got in the kingdom that I want to get done and want to get over the line?
Yeah.
And I want you to do it. I know you know nothing. You don't even know anything about running your own thing or building pools, right? But I just want to do. I just want to do it for the joy of doing it with you, And I think getting to keep taking those steps of faith and in exercising risk, which is so important for a man, I think, to be out there risking something.
Yeah.
It does. It floods you with energy. Like yes, you're physically exhausted at the bottom of the pool, but there's this nuclear rod in you that's so energized because you're in the will of God, and He's with you, and something's gonna happen. You don't know what it is, but it's in His hands, And I think that kind of security. It seems like you're way out insecure without any security, but you're actually in the most secure place you could ever be.
Exactly.
Even if you don't have the money, or even if you don't have the resources or any of that, that's not a thing for God.
Yeah,
He's
totally.
He's like, that doesn't mean insecurity to me.
Not at all.
And so I know for me, man, getting to observe your guys' life, and just all the different, you're the guy I get to hang out with that helps me really continue to flex the adventure that God wants to invite us out into.
Amen.
And even just the stuff we're up to with the kids, you know, that are at the house now. Like all that is all wrapped up in getting to observe adventure and getting out over your skis. And you want to say, your flesh wants to say no, but you know your heart is saying yes. And I think, God, that's living, man. That's
It is.
That's living, you know.
That's the essence of it. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. It's something that I make a distinction too between conviction and condemnation. The world wants to condemn. You know, if I'm in a place in life where I'm doing everything under my own control, I have all the reasons in the world to be filled with pride. I'm pulling it off. I'm making it happen. I'm doing it. Look what I've got. Look what I've accomplished. Look what I did. Look what I made happen. The idea of condemnation for many is if you fail, you're condemned.
Wow, yeah.
You are it's just you.
Yeah.
The beauty of it is the Holy Spirit doesn't do that. He convicts us, and there's plenty of times where you get a dose of conviction. Yeah, I screwed up. But you know what? I'm going to pick up and move on, and this is just that's what happened. That's what I did. Yep, you're right. It's time to move on. So let's pack things up, let's organize things, and let's move ahead with that conviction. And there's, when you're in that place again, where you're in over your head, you can lose it. You could completely lose it. I had a situation some years ago where I was driving to Santiago from Chile, when it's about a 3-hour drive up in the mountains and stuff. It's beautiful country. Driving to Santiago, and it was like 5 a.m, so it was dark. I got out and got a cup of coffee, a little spot right there, and I got back in the car, and I remembered putting my wallet right between my legs. I drank the coffee, and in that 3-hour drive on this mountain road, I'm just going, you know, like this forever. And I had to go pee, so so there in the dark, there's a little, I had to find a shoulder on this little 2-lane road where there's no houses around or what have you. And I just pulled over right there real quick. And right before I did that, I remember praying and saying, Lord, would you teach me about having faith and just believing in you above and beyond my circumstances. You got to be careful with your prayers because he'll answer them. Sometimes the way you don't want him to. And that was this case because I had to go pee. And so I'm driving along in the dark, and I have my wallet between my legs. A friend of mine had given me 2 $100 bills. I got $200 in that wallet. That's a lot of money for us. And I was taken into Santiago to go get it exchanged for Chilean pesos. And I jumped out of the car. The wallet dropped to the ground. And in the dark, I ran around the back of the truck, went pee, and then I came back to the truck, climbed in, and drove off. I drove for 40 minutes. And I got to a place where I had to pay to go through the toll, because it's not freeways. It's you have to pay a fee. And I started looking for my wallet. Wasn't there. And so I found pennies and pesos in the ashtray and here under and I paid the fee. My car was on empty. I couldn't go back. And I couldn't really go forward. And I had like probably $2 is what I had, the total of after I paid the fee. And I drove forward. Well, I guess this is God answering my prayer. I drove forward, got to the gas station there, put $2 in to hopefully get me to the YWAM facility in Santiago and try to see if I can get some money. They could loan me some money to then make the day happen of all the things I had to do. I got to Santiago and they just finished a kids camp, so they had some money in the office, and I made it. And then all day long, I did all the stuff that I was supposed to do, drove all over the city. So 8 hours later, I'm coming back. And I'm driving, and imagine driving, I mean, Highway 1 going up to Big Sur.
Yeah.
That's kind of the road.
Yeah.
Okay, think you're down at Hearst Castle, and you're going to get to, and on one of the turns on Highway 1, you pulled over in the dark and went pee, and the wallet dropped out.
Yeah.
Where is it? That's how ridiculous it was to be able to try to find it. And I remember it was so clear from God. It was like, okay, you're answering my prayer. I'm going to be very careful how I pray in the future. And I just started driving. I'm just driving. I went past that place where you pay. I paid. And now I've got 45 minutes of driving or an hour of driving, and I don't know where it is. I have no clue. And I just driving along, and there were times where I'm beating my fist on the dashboard, screaming at myself, "You're such an idiot," you know. And there are other times where I'm going, you know what? You're gonna do this for me, Lord. You're gonna do this. You're gonna make this happen. And then other times where I'm slapping myself in the face and I'm just angry and frustrated and trusting and looking and seeking. And I come around this bend and I'm going up this hill. And it was the Holy Spirit. I mean, it's not some audible voice, but it just said, turn here. And so because it was the other way, there was a little shoulder. It was just a little knoll. There was nothing to it. It was just a little rocky place. And so I just and I was thinking, no, that's not it, as I did it. So I turned, and as I turned and got across the highway, I drove over my wallet.
Like a speed bump.
I'm driving, and there it is, you know? And it was a little camouflage wallet, so you wouldn't see it anyway, but I saw it. It was right there.
Wow.
And so I pulled the car on this shoulder. I opened the door and get out, and I started dancing. Yeah, God, you're amazing. And while I'm dancing, I'm in the middle of nowhere. There's a drunk guy walking in my direction. I was 5 minutes from him finding that wallet.
Wow.
I mean, he was walking my way. And he walked past my car as I'm getting the wallet and getting ready to get back in and get going. He walked back. He'd have seen it.
Yeah.
And he'd have picked it up, and I would never have seen it again.
Wow. Wow.
And so that was, for me, one of those small, I got a gazillion of those, but that was one of those small little lessons where God just says, I got you. I got you. You know, you're going to go into times of crisis. You're going to go into times that are problematic. You're going to go into time. Rest in me. Do it my way. Stay on the edge. You know, keep pushing yourself out there. Make mistakes. And respond to the conviction of the Holy Spirit, not the condemnation of the enemy. You know, because there are times where he comes at you, and he'll come at you with everything.
Yeah.
And I don't listen to that. No, that's not how I'm going to reconstruct and rebuild out of my mistakes and out of things I got wrong.
That's not my father. Yeah.
Because again, I've done a million things wrong. You know, we could celebrate our victories, but we do need to remember where we made mistakes, and those are big lessons as well.
Dang, man, that's so good. We could go on for hours, man. There's so many. I know that's the tip of the iceberg.
That's just a tip,
because I've heard so many good ones. So hopefully we'll get to have you back, man, and get into some more. But I think you did a great job just laying some of this foundation of what it's like to say yes to God and step out at adventure, watch the weight just come off as you say yes, and actually start getting to live. I mean, and to even just to realize that, like, exercising our faith and risking on a daily basis is how we're wired, and that's how God wants us to be living in dependence with him, you know. And you guys have just painted that picture so clearly for me. Like, it's just, it's so burned. Because I can see it, and I've experienced it myself and been inspired by it. So I thank you so much for paving the way, man, because it's been such a impact in our lives.
Stoked to be a part of your life, and stoked to have you as a part of our lives as well. And there's one last thing I want to leave with you.
Yeah.
We're all looking for a mountaintop experience. This morning in my quiet time, I really had this sense. Mountaintop experiences are great. You get the crest of that mountain, the peak of that mountain. You see the view, you see the panorama. If you stay up there, you're a dead man. There's no water. There's no food. There's no shelter. There's no protection. It's a beautiful vantage point. But it's in the valley where you survive. You drop down off of that mountain and you go into the valley where there's the agriculture and the food and the water and the rivers and everything that's going on down there that you and I need. And it was almost like God gave me a perspective of an inverted situation where our valleys are really God's mountaintops. And I'm not saying he's looking at just hammering us and hurting us, and no. But when we're in that valley, it's not all curse. It's not all down. It's not all struggle and strife and difficulty and problems. There's a ton of things that go around that are beautiful, and enjoy those things. Take those things in, receive those things, walk through those things, help those things take place in your life and in other people's lives. And that valley could be a very fruitful valley. It could be one that's feeds you and houses you and gives you the resources you need to live out a healthy and a productive life in Jesus. And just make sure that everything you're doing, everything you're saying, your focus is on pleasing God. And he is pleasable. He has a smile on his face for much of the day that you're walking through it. Insofar as you're making the right choices and you're moving ahead with the right kind of decisions, and you're encouraging the right people and helping people along in their journey. And when you do that, you discover success. It might not be the success that you were talking about, the same exact kind, but it's a whole nother kind, and it's much, much better. I'll finish with this. My daughter, Katrina, our youngest girl, has Down syndrome. You know her really well.
Yeah.
She's 27 years old, and her idea of life is just to stop and smell the roses and to enjoy life. And there's a gazillion times she's given me that look like, Dad, how could it be so dense?
Don't you see?
I tell people her quantitative accomplishments, she's not going to be a NASA scientist. Her quality of life, she's Einstein. She's got us all beat. She doesn't have broken relationships. She doesn't have hurts and problems, and she's forgiven completely, and she's moved on. And if we could all do that, this world would be a completely different place. It would be heaven. It'd be heaven.
Yeah.
And we're going to get to heaven one day, and you're going to see it, and I'm going to see it. She's going to look back at us like, what's wrong with you guys? You guys didn't realize that all this glorious stuff is here for us? She sees it. She knows it. She understands it way better than you or I. And people look at me like, wow, you've done such a good job. No, it's not me doing a good job with her. It's her doing a good job with me. And with you too. I know you.
Amen.
You got the bug, the joy of the Lord.
Yeah. She is beautiful.
Beautiful.
Love that, man. Thanks so much for being here, man. Such a good convo.
Awesome.
I love you, brother.
Thanks for having. Love you too, bro.
So good.